Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome back to another race here in Delta T Racing. Tonight, we're going to be racing around Qatar in the beautiful Division 1, as we've currently got Mr. Hayward out on track. One of the first drivers out on track here in this short qualifying. But the first driver out on track is, if I'm not mistaken, a Red Bull driver. That is going to be Magic Poop Cannon, leading the pack to hopefully a pole position, although I don't see Magic Poop Cannon score pole position rather that easily. So let's go on board with the Red Bull driver here to see how he's gonna tackle this Qatar Grand Prix track. If I'm not mistaken, this is called the Losail International Circuit, as we're heading into turn 1, a long right-hander, into turn 2, a long left-hander as well. And now we've got turn 3, a fast right-hander. You can easily touch the curb on the inside and on the outside to get a better exit coming down this little straight. Into turn 4 and 5, two fast right-handers, as apparently Magic Poop Cannon invalidates his track there. But that doesn't necessarily not give us the opportunity to look at the track. Turn 6, you saw one of the slowest corners here in Qatar. And we've got turn 7, turn 8, turn 9, and turn 10. Turn 10, also a very slow corner. It's going to be another left-hander here. And you can easily clip the curb on the inside, also on the exit. So that is going to maximize your exits. Coming into sector 3, we've got turn 12, 13, and 14. And we've got turn 15 and 16 is going to be the last corner around the Losail International Circuit. Now, turn 16, you do have to watch out with turn 16. You can easily overshoot a corner and get a track limit out of that corner. So make sure you don't do that, as this is going to be turn 16 here. A very tricky one. You really need a good exit to be able to get a good straight line speed to make that overtake with the use of DRS and possibly ERS as well. As Kenji currently putting himself in pole position with a 122.8. Although I do see the big cannons like Reliot, for example, or a Stewart, or a Grelis, who has been getting pole quite often already, putting themselves on pole here tonight. Now, Reliot is coming around the last corner as we speak, so he's probably going to put himself on pole position for now, but it's not going to last, as it's going to be a 122.4 for the Ferrari driver so far, a 4/10 improvement on Kenji's time. As you might want to go on board with one of the faster guys here as well. Mr. Miyagi is one of the faster guys as well, as he's got the fastest first sector so far here in Qatar. As Hackett now coming down the line with a 122.8, putting himself in P3 so far. And what is Mr. Miyagi going to do? He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead. It's a Kick Sauer and a Williams, as there is a yellow flag in sector 1. A Kick Sauer driver going a little bit slower, parking his car on the inside line. Might have hindered the Ferrari driver there. As Mr. Miyagi now coming through these fast right-handers. The setup most likely will be a high downforce setup, because there's not many straight line speeds here around Qatar, only the start-finish straight. So you don't necessarily need the straight line speed here, as Mr. Miyagi is now coming down the line in pole position with a 121.9. That's a great time, a great improvement on the Ferrari driver's best time as well. On pole time, I mean, as Brandon now improving on Mr. Miyagi's time in sector 1. As Brandon is one of the faster guys. He was also the driver's champion of last season. As I'm quickly going to take the standings with me real quick, because last week we had a very good, well, we had a very good race, not necessarily he, but we had a very good race. And here we have got the results. It was Bahrain indeed. So Grelis is still in the championship lead, as Gunnar won the Grand Prix in Bahrain last week, so he went up couple of positions. He's currently in P4. Joe Hayward is in P2, and Mr. Miyagi is in P3. Grelis is currently in P1. He got P2 last week and a race win in Saudi Arabia. Nexton didn't really do well last week. He got a DNF, and he got a DNF in Brazil as well. Brandon, who apparently put himself in P2, so that's gonna bump him up a couple of positions, hopefully in the Drivers' Championship because he's only in P7 so far. Waza is ahead of him. So is Stewart, so is Gunnar, Mr. Miyagi, Joe Hayward, and Grellis. As there is not many points all the way from P2 to P4. Only 4, and then you've got a gap of about 8 points in between P1 and P2. So Grellis is quite far ahead so far, but let's see whether he's going to keep it consistent tonight here in Qatar. I'm quickly going to have a quick look with Grellis to see whether he's up on his time. Well, he hasn't set a time yet, but coming around the last corner goes Grellis. What time will it be for the Alpine driver? It'll not be a fast time. A P13 so far with a 125.0. Not a great lap. Maybe Gunnar can do something about that, because he's coming around the last corner as well. Let's see what his time will be. Not a great time either. 124. I think these guys are doing another out lap to warm up the tires, although I'm not sure whether that would be a smart thing, because tire degradation is quite high around Qatar. So the guys really need to watch out. Honey Badger is currently in P9 in the Drivers' Championship. Get a P9 last week in Bahrain, a P17 in Saudi Arabia, and a P5 in Brazil. As I'm quickly gonna have a quick look who has the Joker set for tonight. Attendance, here we go. So the Jokers for tonight are apparently nobody. So everyone should be doing their qualifyings, as apparently the Williams driver went a little bit too late offline. As Honey Badger, oh, and he's coming into the pits as well. That's a little bit fucked up if I'm being honest. Honey Badger putting himself in P6 so far. And I'm not sure who that was, which Williams driver. Was it Barry? It was indeed Barry. Grellis, has he gone for another fast one? Apparently he is, as he improves by 3 seconds, currently putting himself in P2. About a tenth and a half behind Mr. Miyagi. So once again, a good qualifying from the Greek driver in P1. But usually we do tend to see him drop a little bit further down the road in the qualifying. Mainly because all the other guys improve. And Mr. Miyagi not necessarily improving on his own qualifying time. So that's a bit unfortunate every now and then. But oh, it is what it is. Gunnar has set a faster lap as well. He did the same thing as Grellis, as they both went for a second lap. Putting himself in P3, Nellboy has joined the session again, as apparently he was not in the lobby. Benny Buno on a fast one as well. Currently entering Sector 2. He's got a little bit of traffic up ahead. So that will be a Ferrari and an Alpine driver. The Alpine driver most likely will be Grellis, as Stewart is still... Oh no, Stewart is on an outlap. Where is Stewart? Stewart is currently entering Sector 3, as he's going to go on a fast one as well. And let's see what he can do. And you want to try to get as early onto the throttle as possible. Coming around the last corner, because you can really gain a lot of time here down that first straight if you just have a better exit coming out of the last corner. There's a very tight line there for the British driver into turn 2, long left-hander, then into turn 3, fast right-hander. We saw the same with Magic Poop Cannon earlier, although he did invalidate, so he didn't really push anymore. Into turn 4, into turn 5. Oh, what a beautiful exit from Stewart, as he's improving by about a tenth and a half so far. That's going to place him around P12, right ahead of Lil Mikey. But I think Sector 2 or Sector... Oh, and he invalidates. This is really something we're going to be seeing here quite often around Qatar. Track limits is a bitch around this track. We're going to see a lot of penalties as well at the end of the race. I think the guy who can keep it most consistent, keep it clean, and keep it within track limits is really going to win this Grand Prix. Whether it's Miyagi, whether it's Grellis, whether it's Magic Poop Cannon. As Phantom joined the session again, he's going to start all the way at the back of the grid. Is Benny Buno going for another one? Waza has left the session apparently. He's all the way at the bottom of the grid. Benny Buno coming back into the pits. Brandon, is he pushing? Seems like he is, because he has plenty of ERS left in the tank. So that usually indicates that they did save a bit of ERS to get pushing in the next lap. Oh, and the little lift there from Brandon. I don't think you're supposed to be doing that in that corner, as he's down about a tenth and a half here in this second to last qualifying lap for the Mercedes driver. Oh, Mr. Miyagi even puts a better time on the board of 121.7. And what can Brandon do here in Sector 2 and Sector 3? He's coming into Sector 3 as we speak. And is he going to be up on his time? He should be. And apparently he's not. A tenth and a half, still slower. And I'm afraid it's not going to be the improvement for Brandon anymore here in Sector 3. Grillis just came out on track as well. He's going to start his outlap. Coming down the straight goes Brandon. Will he be up on his time? Apparently not. He did gain a bit of time in Sector 3 though, as a couple of guys are leaving the session. Does that mean we've got a qualifying restart? I don't think we do we? Let's go on board here with Grillis. My apologies for being silent, by the way, guys. I was reading the messages to see whether we have a lobby restart or not, because Barry isn't in the lobby either, so I don't know what's happening, but... Alright, Grellis is going to start his qualifying time. Oh, he's going to go for another outlap. Apparently they do too. I don't know why. But they're just warming up the tires even more. I don't get the thought behind it, but I guess it is what it is. Brandon is going to go for the pit lane. I was going to say he's going to go for another one, but apparently not. And that's another thing that's really difficult around Qatar. Did I say Bahrain earlier? I meant Qatar. Around Qatar, one, ERS management, but also fuel management, because you really need to overfuel here in Qatar, because otherwise you're not going to be able to finish the race. I've seen it happen multiple times, especially on F123 though. On F123 it was really broke. I haven't done actually too many races around Qatar yet in this F124 game, but from my experience, the ERS management is really difficult, especially when you're all by yourself, not necessarily in a DRS train or anything, but just by yourself. You can really not necessarily charge the battery easily, but it's just such a hassle to not use too much ERS. Honey Badger, look at him, all the way in P3. Magic Pumpkin in P4. Where are the big guns? A Williams car parked in the middle of the track there. Who is that? It's Barry, who is apparently glitched, because it says he's still in the pit lane. I'm not sure what's happening here, but that car is not supposed to be there. Oh, this is gonna be a pain in the ass for Stewart, for example. No, it's not Stewart. Uh-oh. Oh, they're ghosting through them. Okay, this is glitchy. Was that Grillis? I think it was Grillis. The Geek Sauber causing a yellow flag in Sector 2. Did he crash out because he saw Barry there? Was that Skipper? I think it was Skipper. Ah, he's disqualified from the session as well. And Barry's car is still parked in the middle of the road. Well, Phantom currently in P18. He just joined the race, well, the qualifying, and he's going to be able to do one lap And let's see whether that's going to be pole time or not. As things are looking like right now, Miyagi still has pole time as Honey Badger now retired from the session in P3. But we got to look at Grelis as well, only up by about a tenth, as that won't be enough for pole time. And it won't indeed not be enough for pole time, a 121.9 for the Alpine driver. So I might want to go on board with Phantom here. Where is he going to place himself? Fastest second sector. How much time can he gain in sector 3? Coming around the last corner as we speak, as Phantom really hasn't been able to put a good performance up in the last couple of races, as he's now going to be a P9. Not a bad time after a first qualifying lap, if I'm being honest. Kenji putting himself in P7, so Phantom pushes down to P10. And Stewart all the way in P16. What a surprise. He's still up on his time though, 5:10 so far. Entering sector 2. He still has plenty of time to come across the line and put a better time in, of course, because this lap he can still finish. Will he get a little bit of tow from his teammate? Apparently he does. Or is that not his teammate? I think it is. 6:10 so far. Ooh, he's gonna cause dirty air for Stewart. That was not great. I think he should have given a little slipstream coming out of the last corner there, but this didn't really benefit Stewart. And where's Stewart gonna place himself? Coming down the line, Mr. Miyagi, another fastest lap. Stewart putting himself in P7. So not a bad time from the Alpine driver. But Mr. Miyagi is going to run away with a pole time as Grelis comes back into the pits. And that's going to be qualifying over Kenji. It's not going to be improving. What is Phantom doing? Oh, he's gone for another one, but comes back into the pits. Benny Buno is up on his time by about 3:10 so far, as he's going to invalidate. 3:10 was going to place him somewhere around the top 4. And look at the difference between P3 and P14. There's only 4/10 in between those two. That is really, really close here. The qualifying is once again really close, and this is what I really like about Delta T Racing. You know, they've got such a competitive grid. Of course, you've got Miyagi, who's 3/10 ahead, but maybe this is a good track of him, because usually he doesn't tend to be in pole position. It's usually Grelis. But then look at Gunnar, Honey Badger, Reliot, Magic Poop Cannon, Stewart, Kenji, Brandon, Hayward, Phantom, Nellboy, Betty Buno, and Hackett. How close they are all are to each other. In my opinion, that's really nice as a commentator, as a racing driver, and as a steward as well, because, you know, this is just a competitive grid, and it's what I love about Delta T Racing. I've said it before. Here we've got the results of the qualifying as well. Mr. Miyagi in pole position. Congratulations. Grelis in P2 and Gunnar in P3. Further, we've got Honey Badger, Reliot, Magic Poop Cannon, Stewart, Kenji, Brandon, and Joe Hayward. Then we've got Phantom, Nellboy, Benny Buno, Hackett, Lil Mikey, Berzik, Barry, Waza, and Skipper all the way at the bottom of the grid. Waza and Skipper haven't put a time in. So, not sure if they're actually using their jokers or not, but apparently, well, they're going to be starting from the last place, which is not great. Oh, we are restarting the lobby, guys, so please bear with me. I'm quickly gonna switch over to the starting soon screen again, and then we're gonna have a lobby restart. I'll see you guys soon. Alrighty, lads, we are back at it again here in Qatar. We had some technical difficulties with the lobby. Obviously not the guys' fault, it's the game, which is absolutely shit. But apart from that, we are back at it again here in Qatar. We're gonna have a 50% race now. And if I'm not mistaken, we are gonna be having all compounds to be used in this race. Now, I could be wrong. I'm just gonna double check the attendance, because usually it does state that you're gonna have to use all compounds. Let me just double check. Apparently not. Is that next week then? Let me just double check on the calendar. Oh, apparently it is Spain, so not Qatar. Not today. We're just gonna have a 50% race. But in Spain, on the 2nd of April, we're gonna have all tire compounds to be used. On the 26th of March, we've got Singapore, which is a 100% race. Gonna be a pain in the ass as well. But apart from that, we are gonna be ready to rumble here in Qatar. First, we've got a formation lap. But let's go over the grid real quick, so you guys are not missing anything. Mr. Miyagi took pole position. As we've got Grellis in P2, Gunnar in P3, Honey Badger in P4, Reliant in P5, Magic Poop Cannon in P6, and Stewart in P7. Further, we've got Kenji, Brandon, Hayward, Phantom, Nellboy, Benny Bruno, and Hackett. Lil Mikey, Berserk, Barry Bogarowski, Waza, and Skipper. My apologies for that little sneeze. Magic Poop Cannon has left the session apparently. He's going to be in P6. So he might need an invite back, and I'm pretty sure the owners can do that. If not, Magic Poop Cannon, please add me on EA. It's VB Thomas if you haven't already. Let me see if I can get him back into the lobby. Where is our dear friend Magic Poop Cannon? There we go. Invite sent, Magic. I don't know if you're in the lobby, if you're in the video, in the stream, whatever. So tire-wise, let's have a quick look with the tire strategies here in Qatar. It's gonna be medium tires all the way from P1 to P8. A hard tire compound for Brandon, Phantom, and Nellboy. In the middle of those hard guys, we've got Hayward, who is medium. And then we've got Benny Bruno all the way to Skipper on the medium tires as well. So we can really see that the guys have chosen to go for the medium tires here to end this race on the hard tires. But in my opinion, the harder you start, the better you can finish. Or it doesn't even make sense. Well, yeah, the better position you'll be finishing in, because you'll not end up in the middle of a pack that is on old compounds. And you won't be struggling with any leftovers anymore or whatever. Just stay out on the hards for as long as possible. Switch on to the medium tires and you'll be as quick as a fucking... What is really quick? As a cheetah here in Qatar. You know, that would be actually a very cool sport, seeing cheetahs race around the Qatar Losail International Circuit. That would be really cool. Or a jaguar or something that is really fast. That would be really cool. And then putting a lot of money. Wait, I'm gonna start cheetah races. That would make me fucking millionaire, guys. All right, doesn't matter that much. We've got 5 red lights. It's pedal to the metal in Losail. And off we go. Well, let's go on board with Grellis here. He's going down the inside of Mr. Miyagi already. Is he gonna finally make that overtake into the first corner of the Qatar Grand Prix? And he makes the overtake down the inside. Although Mr. Miyagi has not given up, a little slipper there from the Greek driver. Still has the inside line as Miyagi is going to take the lead of the race. Back at it again from Mr. Grellis. And let's see what Honey Badger can do. Jumps up the inside but backs out of it again. Brakes a little earlier than the Alpine driver. And he's going to stay in P3. And no real crashes heading into the first sector of this Grand Prix. Oh, and there we've got a Mercedes spun around. That's Brandon, dropped back all the way to P19. Once again, not a great race start from the Mercedes driver. But let's see whether he can get back from that little mistake. Reliant and Stewart are really having a scramble with each other. Oh, and a little snap there from Reliant. Didn't really clip the curb on the inside, which you should really do in turn 10 or 11. 10 if I'm not mistaken. Gunnar is really on the tail of Honey Badger here as well, as we're heading to lap 2 out of the 29. And there's still plenty of racing to go, but these guys have made a spectacular lap 1 already. Not too many overtakes, which is quite hard here around Qatar. But overall, I think the racing is really decent. You can really stick to the tail of somebody. And here comes Gunnar into the slipstream of the Red Bull driver. Has a little worse downforce, but that means he's a little faster coming down the straight. Overtake done by the Ferrari driver. And Honey Badger now hopefully has to get that job back done heading into Sector 1. Phantom now on the tail of Lil Mikey as he goes onto the curb, trying to get a better exit than Phantom here, but it just seems like Phantom is struggling with the dirty air, but so is Lil Mikey, who's sliding all over the place. Kenji now on the tail of Benny Buno. Is he gonna go for an overtake around the outside? He's not gonna stick his wing ahead of the McLaren driver, so no overtaking opportunities here for Kenji, and he's gonna have to wait for another lap to make an overtake coming down the straight. Gunnar on the tail of Grellis as well, as Gunnar now sets the fastest second sector, and let's see whether he's got the fastest lap overall as well. And this is going to be the time where drivers are going to be able to set faster laps on the board as well. We've got a long DRS train all the way from P1 to P13. As Gunnar went a little bit deeper there. Grellis Gunnar coming down the line. Gunnar has got the fastest lap so far, 125.2. As nobody seems to be able to make an overtake. Maybe Stewart coming around the outside of Honey Badger. Backs out of it again. Maybe a switchback from the Alpine driver, but he's got to back out of it again. And this was a really good opportunity for Stewart. Already gained 2 positions so far. As the only driver who seems to have lost a lot of positions was Brandon, all the way in P18. Dropped about 9 positions so far. Lil Mikey with a good race start as well, together with Benny Buno, who gained 4 positions. Joe Hayward on the tail of Magic Poop Cannon as the Mercedes driver has something to prove here in Qatar. He's been doing fantastically in the last couple of races. Currently in P2 in the Drivers' Championship. But Grellis is the man to beat, and he's still ahead of the Mercedes driver tonight by about 6 positions. So that's quite a bit if you ask me. Stewart on the tail of Honey Badger again. He's going to be able to benefit from the DRS and the slipstream, as Honey Badger is losing a lot of time to the guys ahead of him. And now Stewart just needs to stick to the tail of Honey Badger. Ooh, a really bad line there from Stewart. Loses a bit of time to Honey Badger, but this is going to be a good opportunity for Stewart. Let's see whether he gets a good exit. Doesn't seem like it. DRS wide open now for the Alpine driver. He's drained a lot of ERS as well. He still has about 20% left in the tank, but no opportunity for the Alpine driver. He's got to back out of it, as Kenji decides to go for a move down the inside of Benny Buno, and that's job done for the Kick Sauber driver. And his next target will be Joe Hayward. A gap forming between Benny Buno and Phantom here in P11 as well. As Phantom is getting pressure from behind by Lil Mikey. Let's go on board with Barry Bogorovsky, who gained a position overall as well. Brandon apparently made a move on Skipper coming into a turn, let's say left 4. He gained a position coming from P18 to P17. As Gunnar is gaining on Grellis here as well. Miyagi has got a lot of pace. Dropped out of that 1 second of Grellis, which is good news, because now the Alpine driver is not going to have the DRS heading into a lap 5. And all Mr. Miyagi has to do is stay outside that 1 second of Grellis. So Grellis is really pushing here, heading into Sector 3. Will he or will he not get the DRS? And it's a really important factor, because as soon as he doesn't have the DRS anymore, and I think he will have the DRS, as soon as he doesn't have the DRS anymore, oh, look at that. I think Miyagi is going to have the DRS as well. The Aston Martin letting everyone go through. That's Waza, who is 1 lap down. What happened to Waza there? It's not ghosted either. I think there must be blue flags for the Aston Martin driver. He's not letting anyone go through. And this is not good news for Grellis, because now it means that he has dirty air. And Waza is a lap down. What happened to the Aston Martin driver? And now he's going to let everyone go through. Yeah, this is good from Waza. Leaving enough space for everyone to get past. And even going off track. Now he's going to be on the racing line though, but doesn't matter that much. He's currently right ahead of the Racing Bull driver. So let's go back on board with Gunnar. In the meanwhile, Grelis dropped out of that 1 second again. And this is not good news for Grelis. He needs to stick within that 1 second of Mr. Miyake. So now he's going to get attacked from behind by Gunnar. That's not good news. A big gap forming between Honey Badger and Gunnar as well. As he's going to be about 1 second and 2/10 behind. Stewart now with a 3-second time penalty. That will be the first penalty of the race. But still plenty to come, of course, because I can imagine plenty of the guys have got 2 warnings already here in Qatar. And it's finally an overtaking opportunity for Stewart. He manages to get past Honey Badger coming down the straight. And no big surprise, we saw Honey Badger being a little bit slower earlier on coming down the straight as well. He's a little bit faster coming down the corners, but then down the straight, he's just way slower than all the other guys. Barry Bogorovsky now getting past Berserk. So you might want to go on board with Kenji here. Also, the Red Bulls are having a battle with Reliot at the moment. Reliot finding himself in a Red Bull sandwich. That's not really where you want to be, but a good result once again from the German and the American driver. Not a typical duo you see here in racing league communities where a German and an American are being paired with each other, but the both of them decided to go for a Red Bull team, and they're actually doing not too shabby. As Honey Badger is in a really decent position in the Drivers' Championship as well. And Red Bull now in P5 and P7, so big points for the team as well. Let's see whether they're going to be able to keep these positions till the end of the race. Because it seems like Joe Hayward is really trying to push and get past Magic Poop Cannon there. A little mistake from Magic Poop Cannon as well. And Joe Hayward already got past the American driver. Kenji now trying to have a go at it as well. Around the outside he goes, and job done. Honey Badger now getting overtaken by Reliot. Or is it the other way around? No, it's Reliot making the overtake. Down the inside he goes, and job done from the Ferrari driver. Let's see how much longer this is going to take before Honey Badger is going to have a go at it again. Grella is on the tail of Gunnar. As apparently the Ferrari driver managed to make that overtake on Grelis as well, the championship leader. And these are some important points for Gunnar and Mr. Miyake, because they're both trying to get back to... let me just double check with the standings here. They're both trying to get back to Grelis. As Gunnar currently in P4, he's about 12 points behind Grelis. So these are going to be those points that he needs. You know, he's gaining about 7 points. Is that 7 points? No, it's going to be 3 points on Grelis. And then Mr. Miyake is going to gain 10 points. 15. Yeah, 10 points on Grelis. Although Mr. Miyake currently about... Oh, he's 10 points behind Grelis. So this could give him the lead and the lead actually of the Drivers' Championship as well. And as Joe Hayward now got past Honey Badger. And it will also depend on the fastest lap. So let's see who's got it now. Gunnar, still from earlier on, but Mr. Miyake has flown away. Look at him, 3 seconds ahead of Gunnar already. And there's no way that Grelis is going to get past Miyake again without having to scramble with Gunnar. And that's even going to lose him more time. And he's got his very own teammate behind as well. Oh, there's some battles happening here. Benny Bruno getting overtaken by plenty of the guys. As apparently it was Waza causing some troubles here in this little group. Where's that little Mikey? No, it's still Waza having a go at everybody. Let's go on board with Betty Buno. There's also Phantom trying to find his way around Magic Poop Cannon. Is he going to go for a move coming around the last corner? Seems like he isn't, but maybe with a decent exit. DTR is wide open. We know that the Red Bulls don't have much straight line speed, and neither does Magic Poop Cannon apparently. Here comes Phantom. Down the inside he goes, and that's most likely the better position to be in to make an overtake. Stewart's still on the tail of his very own teammate, and I'm really wondering what the orders are from the Alpine team. You know, is Stewart gonna have a battle with Grellis, or is it just gonna be trying to work together with each other to get back to Gunnar? Because they're now losing a bit of time. They dropped out of that 1 second, and they really need to stick within that 1 second to be able to benefit from the DRS. Because now Stewart is just gonna fly past Grellis and try to run away as well, as they got back within 1 second of Gunnar. So that's good news. Kenji now in the tail of Honey Badger as the Kick Sauber driver didn't necessarily gain too many positions, but I'm still proud of him, of the position he is in at the moment, because this is not necessarily a position we would usually see Kenji be in. As Joe Hayward now flies past Elliott. 5 positions gained already, as Stewart got past his very own teammate as well. So you might want to go on board with the guys who started on the hard tires: Phantom, Nellboy, and Brandon. As nobody else came into the pits yet. The pit strategy will be medium hards and coming into the pits around lap 12, lap 13 maybe. And this is going to be a very exciting battle between Gunnar and the Alpines, because I think both teams are actually in a constructors battle with each other as well. It is Alpine and Mercedes apparently, with Brandon and Hayward in P2. But Alpine still being the more consistent team here in Delta T Racing. Ferrari is apparently in P3, but there are not too many points separated by each other. P1 and P3 is separated by 21 points. And then we've got Mercedes in the middle of them with 71 points in total. Alpine has got 82, so they need about 11 points on Alpine to be able to get back. And I'm afraid that's not going to happen, because both the Alpine drivers are ahead of both the Mercedes drivers. And I'm just quickly going to blow my nose here, guys. I'll be right back with you. And as we're looking at the race, Stewart was trying to have a go at Gunnar, but simply couldn't find his way around the Ferrari driver. He's going to have another go at it here coming into turn 6, and he's going to make it work. Simply doesn't have the speed coming out of the corner. Gunnar now has the inside line. That's not necessarily where you want to be, because you're going to have a bad exit as well. But I think he keeps his position quite nicely here. Defense without any contact, and that is usually a problem we see in racing leagues, where drivers are trying to keep the position, but it's always with contact. And this is actually a battle without contact, and that's lovely to see. Stewart is really gaining a lot of time on Gunnar here. Oh, touches the rear of the Ferrari driver. Luckily, he didn't spin out the Ferrari driver. Brake a little earlier. Here's Stewart. Gunnar with a good exit as he comes into the pits already. Lap 12 out of the 29. And this is where we're going to see the drivers on the medium tires come into the pits and switch onto a new set of tires. Ooh, and little Mikey gets a 10-second time penalty as well. As this is the moment where we're going to see drivers really lose a lot of time on each other. And the gaps are forming as well. Stewart 6 seconds behind Miyagi. And that's a gigantic gap. As apparently it was Grillis instead of Stewart coming into the pits earlier. Phantom and Honey Badger are having a battle with each other as well. Honey Badger tried to defend the position, but simply couldn't hold tight. Let's have a quick look with Elliott here on the tail of Hayward as things are getting heated in Delta T Racing. Drivers trying to find their ways around their competitors, and things simply are not working here in Qatar. Not too many overtakes just down the straight, and I think it's Hayward and Elliott both coming into the pits. Yes, indeed. Hopefully nobody is coming into the pits too fast, which is gonna make well, give a lot of troubles at the end of the Grand Prix. Mr. Miyagi decides to stay out. Let's hope he's not gonna switch on to the soft tires. That would be a big mistake. As the guys here in the middle of the field are having a battle with each other as well. It's Berserk and Barry Bogorowski. Both drivers not necessarily battling with the top guys most of the times, although I am quite surprised with Barry's abilities every now and then, because sometimes he manages to finish into the top 10, and things are looking like that's not going to happen today, because he still has to come back into the pits. But maybe he can benefit from a late safety car. Imagine a safety car coming out right now. He's going to benefit from that quite well, as Mr. Miyagi is probably coming into the pits this time around. We're quickly going to switch over to the Greek driver. Yes, indeed. No 10-second time penalty for Mr. Miyagi. Or is that a drive-through that they get? No, I think it's a 10-second time penalty. It used to be 5 seconds, but they switched it to 10 seconds. It's a good change in my opinion. Hackett and Benny Buno both coming into the pits. This might be a little mistake from the McLaren team, because Hackett is going to get held up. Oh, he's going to get held up quite a lot. Oh, he lost about a second there. A second or two. Oh, yeah, this is a big mistake by McLaren. He didn't really drop a position there, but definitely lost a bit of time to Berserk. Grelis came into the pits about a lap earlier, but didn't really gain too much time on Stewart here. So Stewart is going to have the advantage at the end of the Grand Prix. Nellboy on the tail of Magic Poopcat, and also Brandon. No, that's Waza. Trying to make an overtake on these two. Ooh, and a little corner cut there from Nellboy as well. Might have gotten a track warning with that maneuver. As Magic Poop Cannon most likely has to come back into the pits. There's no point in staying out this long, and he's gonna go for another one. The American driver choosing a different strategy, as Nellboy now gets past Magic Poop Cannon as well. So we might want to go on board with Grelis and Barry Bogorowski. Oh, Grelis going into the back of Barry. Watch out there as Barry comes back into the pits. Or on 13 lap old medium tires. Stewart now getting past his teammate. And this is going to be a battle in the middle of nowhere for Alpine. Hayward getting past Kenji as well. The grid is starting to spread out. We saw a lot of DRS trains earlier on, but they seem to be disappearing. A little DRS train from P4 to... No, that's not P4. The Haas driver. Wait, is that a Haas driver? No, it's a Mercedes. Who is the Mercedes? Oh, no. Who is the Mercedes? Oh, it's Joe Hayward. Joe Hayward, Kenji, Elliott, and Honey Badger are having a little battle with each other in P9, 10, 11, and 12. Apart from that, nobody really seems to try and have a go at it. I don't think Magic Poop Cannon can hold it up long on these medium tires. Maybe he's going to stay on them and switch on to the soft tires at the end of the Grand Prix. It would be a little risky, in my opinion, but, you know, if you feel like it, why not, you know? He's going to stay out one more time, and then he's going to switch on to the soft tires on the next lap, if I'm not mistaken. He's just going to try and stay out for as long as possible in the hopes for a late safety car. But I've noticed that you don't really need to hope for a late safety car. Especially when the grid is this spread out. Usually safety cars happen because drivers crash into each other, and Elliott now made an overtake on Joe Hayward heading into lap 16 out of the 29. There are some back and forward battles here between these drivers in the middle of the field. They've got not a big gap to Grelis here, as both of the drivers came into the pits already, but Kenji, I think it's Grelis trying to hold up these guys so that Stewart can run away. It's a 3-second time penalty for Stewart as well, so they really need to find their way around that 3-second time penalty, and I think that is exactly what Grelis is doing at the moment. Is he going to stay out one more lap? Apparently he is, as Phantom already comes into the pits. Nellboy is going to stay out one more lap. And was that a 3-second time penalty? So does Berserk. And as long as Magic Poop Cannon has got the DRS, I don't think he's got to come into the pits either. Mr. Miyagi now with the fastest lap of 124.4. And right now that means he is in the lead of the championship, at least if he gets a race win. But let's say he does, simply because Nellboy and Magic Poop Cannon still have to come into the pits. He's going to be in the lead of the championship by 1 point because of that fastest lap point. Otherwise, it would have been Grelis. By the way, if there's a silence every now and then, I'm just yawning really bad at the moment. Oh, and Elliott with a 3-second time penalty as well. I think he even got pushed wide there, causing him to get that 3-second time penalty. A little tap from behind made him go a little deeper coming out of that corner. As Poop Cannon and Nellboy still having to scramble with each other. I can't imagine that it's difficult racing on these old medium tires, and I'm really wondering how much percent they still have left in them. As he's got to come into the pits now, doesn't he? No, stays out for one more lap. Or maybe even more. I don't know. Here we're a 3-second time penalty, and you see, this is what I said earlier on. We're going to see a lot of guys with a lot of penalties. And if you don't get a penalty, you're going to basically be winning the Grand Prix. Look at that. Phantom with an aggressive move down his side. I mean, I can't really blame him. He is on fresh medium tires, and now he's going to find his way through the grid rather easily. DRS wide open on Joe Hayward. Down the inside he goes, and he makes an overtake on these fresh medium tires. Good job by Phantom. His next target will be Elliott, Kenji, Stewart, and Brandon, as all the guys are pretty close to each other. And another DRS opportunity for the guys later on. But they still have to wait a little more. Nobody really looking to make an overtake. Maybe Phantom heading into Sector 3. There might be an opportunity on the table for the Racing Bull driver. Although Sector 3 a really difficult sector to make an overtake on. We saw somebody else do it earlier on, because he had a good exit coming out of this corner, and that gave him an opportunity into turn 15. Stewart with another 3-second time penalty as Magic Poop Cannon finally comes back into the pits. Stewart already has 9 seconds of time penalties, And this is not good news for Alpine, because I think they really tried to hold back the other drivers so that Stewart was going to run away with the position anyway. But now it's going to get really, really difficult for Grelis to create some kind of gap to Stewart. Phantom got past Elliott quite easily. This now Phantom next target will be Grelis, but that 3-second time penalty is hurting for Phantom as he goes onto the curb rather aggressively. Lap 19 out of the 29 so far. Still about 10 more laps of racing after this one. Oh, and Phantom should have just gone onto the throttle all the way through, because he would have been able to make an overtake on Grelis. But he's really trying to look for those extra gains, trying to search the limits of the track limits here in Qatar. As apparently my toe is really hurting. I don't know what's happening with my toe, but it's really hurting at the moment. Magic Poop Cannon, who dropped back to P12. Not a bad place to be in, but I can imagine he's on the soft tires. Yes, indeed. Honey Badger coming into the pits. As Red Bull were in a really decent position, I'm not sure what happened to them, but not a great strategy from the both of them. Grell is now making an overtake on Phantom and Kenji. Kenji shooting it up the inside, but Phantom just simply has better tires. Gains the position again, and now he's gonna have a go at it. At Grelis, of course. Brandon caught up to Stewart as well. He's within that 1 second gap, but he still has to come back into the pits. 19-lap-old hard tires. I don't think he can last these hard tires for too long anymore. And really on the tail of Kenji as well. By the way, coming into this Grand Prix, I didn't really feel very well, so I don't know, I just got a little, I'm not gonna call it flu, but it's just, I'm feeling really dizzy since yesterday, and it's just, I feel like I'm sounding like a very old complaining man in their 80s who have multiple disease and have to talk to everyone about them. Oh, and Grelis now gets a 3-second time penalty as well. So this opens up an opportunity for Kenji to finish off in the top 5, simply because we've got Phantom. Oh no, he's gonna finish off in the top 5 anyways if he keeps up with Grelis. But Phantom has got a 3-second time penalty as well, and I think that even a top 3 position for Phantom is on the table, because look at the gap to Stewart, and now look at the penalties of Stewart. There's 6 seconds of an advantage for Phantom, and there's only 3.2 seconds in between the both of them. Here comes Kenji down the inside of Grelis, backs out of it again, as he really needs to push here in sector 2 if he wants to get a chance at getting closer to Phantom. And I think Kenji is actually gonna bump 2 positions, maybe even 3 if he keeps up with Phantom, as there is a safety car situation, as apparently somebody crashed out. I cannot tell you who that was, but luckily it wasn't Miyagi, but he has a 10-second gap to Gunnar, and if I'm not mistaken it was Waza who crashed out. But this is not good news for Mr. Miyagi. He had a 10-second gap to the guy behind him, being Gunnar, and now he's just gonna come back into the pits, which is good news, but he's gonna drop those 10 seconds again. I'm just gonna quickly blow my nose again, by the way, guys, sorry. A bold strategy from Nelboy as he decides to stay out together with Magic Poop Cannon. And I can't really blame Magic Poop Cannon because he's on those fresh soft tires. And now he's going to bump many positions Mr. Miyagi decides to go onto the soft tires, and he seems to be one of the only ones of the top 5. The next driver would be Benny Bruno all the way in P8, and then we've got Hackett in P12. But it's looking great for the Greek driver, especially seeing Gunnar, Stewart, Phantom, and Kenji going on to the medium tires. Yes, the soft tires wear out rather fast in Qatar. You've got about 2 or 3 laps behind the safety car, where your tires are not necessarily wearing out that much. So I don't think he has to worry about them too much, as we're going to have a spectacular finish of this Qatar Grand Prix later on. Plenty of the guys have come into the pits. It seems like Barry Bogorovsky is on a strategy of its own. He's currently in P13 on 7-lap-old hard tires. Didn't decide to come into the pits, which is even a more interesting strategy. Is he coming into the pits right now? No, doesn't seem like it. He stays out. As we're heading into lap 23 out of the 29. And if I'm not mistaken, we should be ready to go next lap. It all depends on Skipper all the way in P18. Whether he gets back to the safety car situation, whatever you want to call it. It doesn't look like anyone is really ready to get this thing going, because not eager, you know. Sometimes you tend to see guys being really close to each other, ready to get this safety car back into the pits and start racing again, but it doesn't look like anyone is really eager to start. No boy might be, because he is starting this safety car restart, and it's a really interesting thing as well, because starting on older medium tires isn't really going to give you any benefits, but seeing Magic Poop Cannon behind you on 4-lap-old soft tires is going to make things easier for you as a lead of the race. As really it now drops 11 positions back to 11th place. Gains a position on Grelis again. Not sure what happened there between the both of them, but oh no, boy, is gonna go already. And boogity boogity boogity, we are back at it again. Oh, he's gonna slow down again. Oh yeah, this is the this is a safety car glitch. When the safety, this is fucked up. So he couldn't go again yet because the safety car hadn't come into the pits yet. So he was gonna slow down coming around the last corner, which made everyone crash into each other. Now Stewart gains a position. I think it's Mr. Miyagi, who actually has a broken front wing. He drops back to P6 now. And this is going to be really frustrating for the Greek driver. He's still ahead of Grelis, so that's good news, but I'm afraid he's not going to get into the lead of the championship anymore with that broken front wing. No, this is very painful for Miyagi. Oh, and he gets crashed out by Brandon as well. He must be frustrated. This is not a good way to... yeah, Nullboy's really got to own up that one. Let's go back on board with Gunnar, as he's going to be on the tail of Stewart. And this is potentially for the lead of the Grand Prix. Although Stewart hasn't really caught up to Magic Poop Cannon yet, so this could be... I'm not saying it's actually going to be, but this could be a race win opportunity for Magic Poop Cannon with that bold strategy. He didn't know that there was going to be a late safety car, and I'm afraid his strategy wouldn't have worked out if there wasn't a late safety car. But it's kind of working out with that late safety car at the moment, guys. DRS enabled as well, so Stewart is going to have the DRS on Magic Poop Cannon. Although it's the other way around. Gunnar now making an overtake, coming down the inside of Stewart. Will the Alpine driver not giving up? Is he going to keep his car around the outside? Yes, indeed. Now has the inside line, keeps the position. And what a way to defend your position here. That top 3 position, although Stewart has 9-second of time penalties. And I think it even went to 12. No, it's still at 9. And Gunnar just... Oh, misses the braking point. And this opens up a spot for Gunnar, for Kenji as well. Stewart now trying to get away, but he's just going to lose so many positions because of that late safety car as well. Stewart not necessarily having the opportunity to run away from anybody else in about 4 laps, which is going to be a tough task for the Ferrari driver. Benibuno on the tail of Kenji. I've been seeing that quite often. So, like, this guy on the tail of this guy. It's just such a nice thing to say. But he is really on the tail. Look at this. DRS wide open for almost everyone right now. We're having a DRS train all the way from P1 to P6. As Kenji finds his way past the Ferrari driver. Stewart now getting past Magic Poop Cannon as well. And the only driver who Magic Poop Cannon just simply cannot let pass is Gunnar. And then he should get this race win. About 4 more laps to go. Although I think it's too big of a task for the Red Bull driver. Let's see whether he's going to be able to. 7-lap old soft tires. He still has to go on these for 4 more laps. It's going to be such a hard task for the Red Bull driver as well. The softs just simply don't work that long. And you might think, yeah, guys, I mean, they have less fuel in their car and shit, but let's be honest here. 11-lap old soft tires on Qatar is just a pain in the ass. I think the tires will be around 70 to 80% at the end of the Grand Prix. No, I don't think that much. Although, maybe? I don't even know. I gotta ask him. Mr. Miyagi went from a P1 to P18 last place. Simply because of not necessarily a safety car glitch, because I think Nullboy... everybody knows that it's some sort of glitch, but it's just not nice as a racing driver. Oh, and they're going 3 wide, heading into turn 1. Benibuno trying to benefit from... Oh, is Benibuno gonna get the race win? Around the outside he goes of Gunnar. And he keeps the position. A little wheel banging there between the both of them, but he has the inside line. Oh yeah, look at that. Benibuno for the race win. Benibuno for the race win. Whoop whoop. He is doing a good job finding his way through the field, as he gained about 9 positions so far, as Mr. Miyagi gets the fastest lap once again on those soft tires of 122.9, as that's going to be really close to his qualifying time as well. So you can really see his frustrations there. Not necessarily caring whether he's going to crash out or not, getting that fastest lap. Because, I mean, you're all the way in P18. You dropped 17 positions simply because of that stupid mistake from... I mean, I'm not going to say no. I mean, it's not stupid. I know that you might have forgotten about it, but it just ruined somebody's race really, really, really bad. And their hopes of getting a championship as well. Because how many points did Miyagi drop with that? 25. And that's an enormous amount in a 12 race calendar. And that's really something you got to think about. Magic Poop Cannon got passed. Got passed by Gunnar and Benny Buno. Now Grell is also trying to find his way around Magic Poop Cannon, but the battle is between Benny Buno and Gunnar. Both of the drivers still having a chance at a race win. And right now, I think Gunnar can actually, if he gets the race win, he can actually jump Grellis in the Drivers' Championship, and that would be really, really exciting as well. Because Grellis has been doing really, really good in qualifying, but just simply cannot keep it consistent and composed throughout the races. Like this race, he also dropped 5 positions already. Phantom on the tail of Grellis, he was looking like a race winner as well. Simply couldn't keep it composed. He went onto medium tires. Oh yeah, he went for a different strategy, but had to come into the pits anyway because of that strategy. And we're heading into the last lap of this race. It will be Benny Buno against Gunnar, as all the other guys ahead of them have penalties. As Benny Buno seems to have a lot of straight line speed, but also has the opportunity to use the DRS. Let's put the penalties on the screen real quick. 9 seconds for Stewart, 6 seconds for Nelboy, and 3 seconds for Kenji. So Kenji is basically going to be scoring a top 3 position as well. A good race from the Kick Sauber driver. And this is just going to be the place he's going to finish in. At least if Grellis isn't going to catch up anymore. But he's about 3 seconds behind, so I wouldn't worry too much about him. The bigger battle is between Benny Buno and Gunnar. As things are looking like right now, Gunnar simply cannot find his way around the McLaren driver. Heading into Sector 3 as we speak. Coming into Turn 10. Hard braking zone. A good exit for Gunnar is going to do wonders. But Benny Buno simply has a good exit as well. And now the fast right-hander, watch out, can you gain much time here? Just coming around the last corner gives you a good opportunity though. Benny Buno just simply has to hold up. Oh no, is Gunnar going to make an overtake? Is Gunnar going to make an overtake? No, he's going to have dirty air. No way. Gunnar with a good exit. DRS wide open, into the slipstream he goes. And it's going to be Benny Buno getting the race win. Kenji drops back to P3. Grell is in P6 as Brandon and Magic Poop Cannon both jump a lot of guys actually. Stewart drops back to P8. Relliot in P9. Phantom in P10. Hackett in P11. Honey Badger in P12. Jay Hayward in P13. Mikey in P14. Berserk in 15. And then we've got Skipper in 16th and Mr. Miyagi. I feel you, buddy. I would be throwing my controller into my racing screen. Not necessarily racing screen, but just screen. And he's going to crash out as well, coming down the line. Barry Bogorovsky is going to finish off in P18, and that's going to be your Qatar Grand Prix. There might be a couple of reports, but I don't think this race was too bad with incidents. Maybe the Miyagi Nullboy incident will be reported. Benny Buno is driver of the day as well. I cannot agree with that more. Let me just double check with the results of the race here in Qatar. Race win goes to Benny Buno. And let me just double check whether he's actually jumping many spots in the Drivers' Championship. Where are those standings? Here we've got them. So Benny Buno is in P11 in the Drivers' Championship. But with those 25 points, he's going to possibly jump to P6, P7. So that's good news for the McLaren driver. Gunnar, on the other hand, might be jumping a lot more positions. He got 18 points tonight. He's going to jump a position on Joe Hayward because Joe Hayward only finished in P13. We're also going to see him bump a position on Mr. Miyagi simply because Miyagi got crushed out. And then Grellis, he needs about 12 points on Grellis. Did he get those? I don't think he got those. 18. No, he actually got them. He got 10 points. Oh, no. He needed 12, didn't he? Oh, yeah, he needed 12. So he's going to be right up the tail of Grelis. But I think Grelis still is in the lead of the Drivers' Championship. So congratulations to you, Alpine driver. You are a little bit lucky there because Mr. Miyagi got crashed out. But apart from that, we are all good to go. So I would like to thank you very much for watching this live stream. Next week, we will be having... Let me double check for you. If I'm not mistaken, it's either Abu Dhabi or is it another Grand Prix? It is indeed Abu Dhabi. So we're going to be there for you next week. And all I can say to you is thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you guys next week. Peace out. Bye-bye.